Howdy everybody, Ryan here again. I'm gonna do a small tutorial on Parallax Floor. Someone asked me how to make parallax floors on high-res stages. Um, Between low-res and high-res there is no difference, nothing whatsoever. So I've already split my image. This is for a stage I plan on making in the future. Um, so the parallax is gonna be one image, which is this. This is going to be slanted doing using coding, and the other image will be this, which will appear in front of it. So I just have these two sprites. I'm going to use the background's just going to be black for now, but this is to get going. So I have opened up Fire Factory 3. I'm on the sprite section here. I'm just going to add these two sprites, floor and floor 2. Now I personally believe that alignment is the key to everything. So you could align however you want to do. You can align to center, align to whatever makes you feel comfortable. There, see, look at that. As you can probably notice too, this image is flipped to make that, and if you erase the bottom, it's still the same thing up here. So yeah, that's just how I did it. So I'll just save this as Mugen 1.0. Not 1.1 because it's not released yet, and not beta because beta is for a WinMugen, and you don't want to downgrade yourself, you want to stay updated and all that. So let's see. We're gonna go to, where is it? Battle Universe stages. This is gonna be um, Ice Fire Mountain. Yeah, Ice Fire Mountain. So save that. Sprites are done. I'm using group 0, index 0, and group 0, index 1. So just these two sprites right now. The background I'm not going to worry about. I'm just doing the floor. Let's see. Now we'll go into the Mugen folder. I'm going to take a stage 0. Let me see. Yes, I'm going to take stage 0, copy, paste it, just like that. I don't know what that is. Rename this, copy it, paste this. So now both of them have the same name, Icefire Mountain, icefire-mountain.sff. This is the definition file, which is what you put into your select.def to work and to make it appear. I'm just going to replace some of this information with some details. 1/16/2013. Author would be me, or rather Ryan. Now, let's put this in Mugen before I start explaining and doing anything. Select, whoops, there we go. Okay, start Mugen just to get started. Okay, let's see. Alright, so this is Ice Fire Mountain, and as you can see, it's still stage 0 technically. So we'll just linger on the select screen for a bit while I do this. Now, I'm gonna scroll down. See, at the near bottom of this has this BG main background definition. This reads what your SFF is. So we're gonna use Ice Fire Mountain. And now it's going to read the Ice Fire Mountain SFF. So let's test the stage again. It should look like that.
Round 1. Fight.
Leaves much to be desired, but it's okay, I guess. Alright, so go back to the select and leave that. See, the thing about Mugen is you can always go back and then go back again to test stages, but to test life bars you have to exit out all the way and go back in. Alright, so this is the debug bug background, which will turn everything pink. So we can put that on if you want to see bright pink color, but I don't want to see a bright pink color because my eyes hurt a little bit. Okay, now let's see all this here. Even though this is comment out here, and this is a lot of comments here, this is actually a code to play image 00 and a layer starting 00, delta, all that stuff. It's a code to do that, and you really don't need all of that. So we'll just erase it. If you hear noise in the background, please forgive me. It's children running around loose with no owner. Okay, so Fires Mountain Sprite 00. This is going to be the top of the mountain, I believe, where a player is going to walk. So this is going to be a parallax. So parallax, I think I spelled it right. If anything, you can just copy here and paste it. Good. sprite is going to be 0, 0. Start's going to be, I'm just going to go with 200 for now. Also, since this is a high-res stage, I would go to stage info here with the Z offset, the auto turn, the reset background, the local corridor. I would set this to 640 by 480. That'll give the image the proper size. I may have to alter the size too because I think it's too small, but we'll see. Look at that, missing. Okay, I get an error because I'm missing some stuff here, but that's fine. Delta, I'll leave for now. Mask, I will put to 1. Mask says masking initial blah blah blah. Okay, it doesn't really tell you here, but mask basically tells you if you want to have your transparent color shown or not shown. Mask equals 1 means your transparency color is not going to be shown. Mask equals 0 means your transparency color will be shown. So we need mask equals 1. You don't want to show transparency color. You almost never want to show transparency color. Majority of the time you'll use mask equal 1. Velocity, it's not moving. Tile, we want it to tile left and right. But you know, we'll take tile off for a second. Tile spacing 0, 0. Okay, that's all of that. Then, okay, so see this, all these codes here, these are all part of the basic stuff. And now this is for parallax only. You have to choose between X scale or width. If you use X scale are for stages that are like Capcom stages from CPS2 games where the floor is slanted and tilts and all that stuff. A good example of this would be, let me see. Okay, 6 minutes. A good example of this would be, let's see, Street Fighter Alpha 3. Alpha 3. I don't know which one it is, but character. No. Okay, here. Vegas stage. Alright, you see how this stage is like this? It starts off like that and it goes off and this is like a pointed end. Now for this type of stage, you use X scale because X scale will make this stage look much better. And I think, oh, what's this? Okay, that's not nothing. And this is also, ew. Cast characters. Alright, so that's one example in the Dalsim stage. More or less all the stages in Alpha 3 are like this from the arcade game. And this is what X scale is going to be used for, to make this scale properly. I never really use X scale because I never work with images like this, but what I do know is when you use an X scale parallax floor, your floor has to look exactly like the regular image right here. It needs to look just like this. If it looks slanted, your code is wrong. So if it looks like this, you're in the green. You're good to go. I want to make this. This looks like a nice stage, but I gotta rip the sprites from the game, I guess. Anyways, back to this. So we're not going to use X scale. We can't use X scale, not for this. Instead, we're going to use a single texture file, which is what you saw me draw. This is the single texture file. Okay. Now, you can say it's not a texture or whatever, but if you take like an actual game, for example, such as the Naruto Ninja Destiny games on the Nintendo DS, I will show you what that looks like here. DS Naruto Ninja Destiny, and you take these backgrounds, floors, and textures. These are the backgrounds, but here, looky, these are floor and textures. They're just flat images of the textures. Now, what we're going to do in Mugen is we're going to apply these textures to a slanted parallax floor and make it look like a real floor. And what they do in the DS game is they apply these textures to the polygonal floor, and that makes it look like a 3D floor. So it doesn't work like that in Mugen too well, but you know. So that's going to be our floor. Okay, so we're going to use width because width is our best choice. When you're using square textures or texture like what I'm using, width is your best bet. Now, the way width works is top scale and lower scale, top and bottom scale. The easiest way to do this is to scale the top by, say, half of what the actual image is. And let's see, top is going to be, this actual image is, oops, wrong tool. We just need the left and right. It is 64 pixels. Top and down don't matter, but let's see, it's going to be 64. So 64 by 2 is 32. And the bottom is going to be 64. So now it's going to be 32 on top, 64 on bottom. So it's going to be in an angle. Now you can do this any way you want, really. Take a brush, take a big size. So this is, for example, 32. It's gonna go down like this and scale to 64. Get it? And then everything else will slant also accordingly, not like my lines here, which don't slant at all. Um, and then we have the y scale start and y scale delta. I'm just going to use the Y scale start. I don't recommend using the Y scale delta because when a character jumps, the floor will slant in and out to look like it's a 3D floor. However, this throws off all the alignment that you do prior, and it's really hard to get this to look accurate and to stay attached because it's kind of funky. So as you see here in the Y scale start equals, it says starting Y scale float in percent. Float means it's gonna be a solid number, 1, 5, 10, 12, 13, whatever number. It's gonna be full solid. It's not gonna be like decimal numbers in percent. So in this case 100%. So I'll leave it at 100. Default is 100, so I'll leave that. Um, okay, I think that's all I need to make this work. So let's try it out. Oops. Okay, so there you go. That's the floor right there. And you see, because I redrew it to make it look nice and fancy, they're in the air. It looks good down here, but up here it's all shrunken in half. And when you shrink this in half, you get the low res version of the stage. But see, that's what it looks like. So when I move the characters, oh, that's ugly. You see how the floor kind of moves like that? It slants left and right. Yeah. So let's tile that so it doesn't look as bad. We'll tile left and right, and we'll leave tile spacing to 0. This way, there's no space in between the tiles. And look at that. See, that's not so bad. It does move a bit too fast, though, but we'll fix that. Okay. Now, there's another code here which doesn't, was not a lot of people uses. Is BG clear color equals 000. You can more or less set the background color of the stage to be whatever color you want. At least I believe you could. I could be wrong. Oh wait, no, I think I need debug on for it to work. Let's see. No, it doesn't help, but at least you see. The thing is about this is it looks nice down here, but it looks horrible up here. It's like, what the hell happened to this? So I guess my best bet would be to enlarge it by just enlarge it. Or you know what? I could just try messing with the numbers and see what I get. But first, let me bring it down. Or let me put the other part of the floor on the bottom. I'll copy and paste that. I'll rename this front floor, and I'll rename this to floor. So this is going to be a normal sprite. Image 0, 1, 200, no. 480, 4. I'm just going to make a guess here. I'm going to go 440. Delta, tile spacing, width. Okay, these two are useless because this is just normal type now. And when I add this in, the floor is going to appear in front of it. That's actually pretty good.
Fight.
Go me. Let's try 30. By 2 pixels, that's okay.
Fight.
32 should be fine. There we go.
Round 1.
But I will extend it further down a bit more, just for coverage on screen shakes and all that stuff.
Fight.
Okay, now we need to move this down. This is the floor, and also start 300. Almost.
Round 1.
325.
Round 1.
350.
Fight. Round 1. Fight.
55. I think I overshot that, but it's okay.
Round 1. Fight.
Okay, I'll put this behind it. And the reason I put it behind it is so that's where the floor looks like it ends and then goes down to that. You know, it looks like an ugly floor, to tell you the truth, but I mean, that's kind of how it is in game. So let's see. Okay, so normally I would use a 2 to 1 ratio like this, wrong symbol. No, 2 to 1 ratio like this. But I think sometimes you just can't use that as much as you'd want to. So I'm just gonna try something else, like 4864. That's just a random number I chose. It's not something from prior experience. That does look better, but it still looks really funky. Okay, let's bring the characters down to the floor. That's the offset. This is the floor. We're gonna work from top to bottom. So 420 should be good enough, I think. I'm just putting them on the floor for now. Oh, too much, too much.
Round one. Fight. Fight.
Funny coincidence. Okay. See, this is kind of hard for me to tell the parallax with the floor. So I'm gonna alter Kung Fu Man, make him slow down time at all times. Oops. State -3. Slow mo. Type equals pause. Trigger 1 equals time mod. Mod 2. Uh, that should slow down time. Unless I just did that wrong. Which is possible. Hmm. Why you not work? Does trigger time, move time. Hmm. Game time?
Fight.
Oh, unless it's the wrong Kung Fu Man I'm editing. That could be the cause. Uh, let's see. Flying Kung Fu Man. There we go. That's the problem. See, I'm not fully crazy, just a little bit crazy. Alright, now this will definitely slow down Mugen. See?
Round one. Fight.
Nah, the intro slowed down, but not him. Hmm. Okay. Huh. Not sure why it's not working, but whatevs. I'll manage, I guess. So, as you can see, the floor works in a sense, but it doesn't really work properly the way I want it to.
Fight.
Oh, it's working now. Yeah, so the floor looks a tad horrendous, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna slant it now. So right now, the way the floor is, it's kind of straight, except it's scaled a little bit. So change your Y scale to, I like to use values such as 100 or 200, because that'll slant it a good difference.
Fight.
See, so now the floor is like real slanted. And it shows like more depth, I guess you can say. Alright, so that's that. Problem is now that this is, because it's slanted now, it's like you can't really tell it's a floor. It looks like something totally different. So we're gonna extend this out, and I'm just gonna draw some shapes, because these shapes really help a lot when you're using like this type of thing. Because if I don't put these shapes in, I won't really know where I stand on making it a correct parallax floor. I would just be guessing. And plus, it's snow. I mean, you can't really see snow. You can't see a floor in snow, especially one like this. Well, you know, I don't even know what I'm saying. You could see a floor in snow. Yeah. This is just, I guess, overly complicated for no reason at all. So there, I am making a floor, making the floor better. Anti-aliasing so that it matches up correctly with everything else I've done. Never hurts to keep everything in the same order. Let's see. Okay, good. So now the floor has some little design on it, and it's been extended much more. So I'm going to save this. And if I want to make this look really nice and probably better, I'm going to enlarge this by 200%. Yeah. Yeah, probably not the best choice, but I'll add it up and see how it looks. Now, I get the strong feeling that I messed up somewhere along the line. Okay, so that's that. I'm just gonna leave these here and add the other ones I just did, just so I could have them all together. And one center discard. One center there. So I'll make this the same. This I guess is okay. Okay, so now it's gonna be 1 0 and 1 1. So let's try that. It's gonna be 1 0 and 1 1. Now the floor should look a bit better.
Fight.
Yeah, it looks much better. Okay. So now I could probably use that same old ratio I had before. Um, 32:64. Maybe, I think.
Round one. Fight.
Okay, maybe not. But you know what I can do is if I do enlarge it by this by 200%, it should look good enough. See, the thing about using parallax to do these type of images where it looks like there is I guess you would say a platform floor. Your floor and stuff needs to be larger than what it really is, just so it can look like it has some depth. Floor 3. Uh, okay, this is 1, 2. And always keep your originals just for whatever sake, you know? You don't want to really just throw crap away. I should have put it in the center, 6490. 6490. Okay. So let's try 1, 2. Alrighty. Take a look. It all looks better. It all looks a bit scrunched up in scale still, but it looks good. So 64 and then 64, 64 is 128. So, see, this is the amazing thing with parallax and scaling, is that it just works out really well when done
Round one.
correctly. So you see now, the flow looks better, and it looks funky actually, but I could scale it easier now. So I'll put this at 300 using a much stronger scale. This will scale it a lot more now. See?
Fight.
And I'll move it upwards too, so let's try 30, 330.
Fight.
Still not enough. Let's go a little more. 320, 320 should work. Okay, still not
Round
there.
one. Fight.
310. You know,
Round
forget
one.
that. Moving this down.
Fight.
because you don't want to have a floor that's too high. It just
Fight.
looks horrible in the long run. Okay, 450. Let's see. Get that's well
Round
enough.
one. Fight.
Okay, now our
Fight.
floor and our bottom platform look good together. We just need to make the player look right on it, and when he moves it, meet the delta to work correctly with it. So let's see, what we're going to do here is make his Z offset a bit higher. So honestly, I don't recommend making a stage with such a big platform like this. Um, it looks a bit strange. You know what? What can I do here? What can I do here to reduce this strangeness? Let's try an experiment. 60. Ooh. 32.
Fight.
Hmm. Could this work? You know, I think if I no, wait. No. Hmm. I got ideas, but they're not working. Yeah, they're not working at all. All right, so let's put this back to 1. Um, floor is all good still. Good.
Round
It's all
one.
good still.
Fight.
I really want to move this down more, just 'cause it bothers me. I don't think the floor should be so high, you know? So let's go with 475, and that's 25 difference, so this would be 35, I think. I can't count.
Fight.
Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, 30. I know, I'm still messing with this. I'm sorry for the agonizingness of watching me
Fight.
mess with this crap. Okay, so as you see, when he moves, the floor doesn't move the same way. It doesn't feel the same pain. 128, 64. Instead, it moves in a somewhat awkwardly
Fight.
fashion. See how it's kind of aligned here like this? And then when you move, it's all like crooked and moving away. Okay, well, first thing is first, don't worry about the bottom layer. Worry about the top where the players are standing. Now, to do this, we need to alter the delta. The delta and the parallax will greatly change how this moves when you move. So, let me change the left and right of this to like 500. That's a good value, I think. Up and down does not matter. The floor is a bit too high now, so let's go with 350. I think 350 will look good for the floor now.
Fight.
Good. Okay, so here's how you test it. Take off your life bars. Control L takes off life bars. You have one player, namely probably player 1 or player 2 most likely, to move away, and you concentrate on the lines in the floor and the opponent's feet. Now see, as I move, the lines move away from his feet. As I move, they move much further away. And the next set of lines go to his feet. So I gotta alter that so it doesn't look like he's sliding. I don't know how it looks in the video, but if you could see this, he's more or less sliding on the floor, see? So we have to change that. Me personally, in my experience, I use values between zero point 0.5 and 0.5 and 1. Anything higher than 1 will make you move too fast. Anything lower than zero point 0.5 will make it look like it's not moving at all. So I'm just going to jump in here with like zero point 0.6. Okay, that's my like random assumption. And let's see how that
Fight.
works. Okay, it still moves. Alright, yeah, it still moves, so let's try another thing. Oh, whoops, I changed the wrong thing. Zero point 0.6. That was my issue. Whoopsies! Okay, let's try this again.
Fight.
Alright, it moves, but if you can probably see, it moves at a much slower pace than with before. Before, he would pass by 2 or 3 of these little lines on
Fight.
the floor. Right here, he would pass by 2 or 3 of these when I move back, but now he just passes by half of 1, which is good. So let's try zero point 0.6, since I tried zero point 0.7 just now.
Fight.
Try zero point 0.6, and he's still moving a
Fight.
little bit. As you can see here, the line is caught to the end of his foot. As we move away, the line goes towards the center of his foot, then to the end of his foot. So zero point 0.6 is really good. So we'll try 0.5. let's see, point 0.5 has it moving. Has it moving a bit too much
Fight.
now. See, it moves past his foot and then keeps going a little bit too much. So before, what happened was
Fight.
the floor moved too much to the right. Now the floor is moving too much to the... Wait, how's that moving? What am I
Fight.
saying here? Okay, so yeah, if you go over at, let's say, delta equals 1, it'll move too fast. If you go too low, it'll move too fast still. So you need to figure out the number. So zero point 0.6 looks really good. Zero point 0.5 looks okay, but it's still a bit too fast. Zero point 0.7 is the same thing as 5, so we gotta go with an in-between number. So we'll try 0.55.
Fight.
Okay, that looks really close. You know, I think it might be 0.63. I think that's my thing. I'm only guessing this number from experience of
Fight.
messing with these numbers. Yeah, actually, 0.63
Fight.
looks almost spot on. Okay, so you see this line, how it goes here at his feet? As I move away, that line should stay at his feet because that's his plane of the floor. That's the floor plane right there. That should stay the same for him. The background will be scaled to accordingly, and the front will be scaled accordingly. So as I move away, that line sort of stays on position. Okay, so now you see in a different way. Um, this has this distance between his feet, and this is a distance there. As I walk away, that distance should stay the same, but as you see, it slides slightly. So I'm going to try 0.64. Let's see how that looks.
Fight.
Hey, Ryu has big feet. Alright,
Fight.
so Kung Fu Man, let's see. Alright, look at that. It's still there where it should be. That's where I walked away and left it, and that's how it is. Alright, now his foot is kind of on it, so we'll walk away. Look at that, his foot is still kind of on it. So this is the perfect value. So now the parallax works perfectly. Now we're going to alter the front to make the front look like it moves. So this is 0.64. We're going to change this to uh, 0.6 just to test it. Now remember, since we have a pattern at the top and bottom like this, connecting it, we have to make sure this stays the same as we move. Ah, see? No good. Okay, obviously it's not moving now. I should mention, if the delta is 0, it's not moving at all. It's going to stay where it is. If it's 1, it's going to move according to the movement of the character. So I think I may need to go above 1 just to make it move twice as fast, just to match up
Fight.
with the front. So see, it moves too fast. It doesn't keep up with it. So let's try 1.3. And this is the trial and error for deltas. In most cases, you
Fight.
won't have to worry about this part because look at that. That looks perfect. See, so it looks like you're on a 3D platform in some ugly kind of way, but you're on some kind of 3D platform. Look at that. And I did this in 33 minutes. Haha. Even though I had some problems. But yeah, look at that. Nice 3D floor. His feet are sticking to the ground where they should be, even though you're on ice. You're not sliding around. Everything's staying. That's why I drew these little symbols in the ground, so I can use them to get the correct delta for Kung Fu Man. Otherwise, if it's a white, it's kind of pointless in me trying to get the correct one. But so yeah, you kind of learn in this episode of how to make stuff in Mugen with Ryan, how to make a parallax floor, ta-da, using width and a x and a top x and the bottom x value. And there, my ratio is still the same, 2:1. This is divided by 2. Wait, no. Yeah, this is the 1. 128 divided by 2, you get 64. You got to see how Y scale affects the sprite and scaling. If I put this back to 100, this image is going to explode back up to the original height, and it just looks kind of bleh. And you also see how to arrange the parallax flooring to make it look accurate and proper. So what it really is mainly, just to recap, it's mainly just messing with the delta until you make it the floor not move when the character moves. See, it moves very slightly now, but that's perfectly fine because it can't be helped. It's a it's a 2D sprite on a semi 3D looking floor. So it can't be helped if it moves like 1 or 2 pixels. or yeah, 1 pixel. Um, so yeah, 3D fancy floor. Look at that. Weehee. Kung Fu Man, fly away. Whoosh. Other Kung Fu Man, follow. Okay, follow him. Whoosh. And there you go. Nice 3D looking floor. Isn't that nice? And if you're wondering how I'm moving the floor like this, he never left. Hee hee. Alrighty. So thanks for watching. This will not be in the download in the description box because I am working on this stage actually. So yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope this explains about parallax floors. Like I'm hoping I did teach it right. But if you have any questions, please ask in the comments box below, and send me a private message. I'm always here. I'm always willing to answer. So yeah, chowder.